All right, so we're here on the debut episode of Washington Football Guys. As you coined, Rob, a concept that we created and now it's to fruition. So,
Yep.
got my guy Rob in the building. What's going on, Rob? My right hand man, my co-host.
Man, I'm just excited to finally be doing this. Yeah, I've been saying it. We been talking about this for probably no, almost a year.
Yep.
In fact, almost a year to the day, I think. And I'm words cannot fully explain how excited I am to finally be doing this, to be able to talk Washington football, at the very least once a week, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a fun. We'll be doing this every Friday night. Obviously, here in the East, to be under the lights, and in the West, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Yeah, it's
for all everywhere. Yeah. So yeah, definitely, I'm going to be start the weekend off with some Washington football on our end. So first, before we get started, you're probably thinking to yourself, who in the hell are the Washington football guys? So we got to introduce ourselves. So I'm gonna go with you first, Rob. Just introduce yourself. Just pretty much why you love this team, pretty much, and your backstory behind with the team.
So why I love the team, and for anybody who has known me for an extended period of time, already know that this comes from my relationship with my father. He was a huge Washington fan. It's one of the things that we were always close, even to this day. When something happens, when news breaks, I text him right away. Hey, did you hear this? This is going on. And we talk about it back and forth. He's probably the biggest influence in my life when it comes to Washington. I've been a fan. I've had two stints with this team. For some reason, well, when I was a kid, I was born and raised in California. So in the early 2000s, the Niners were the team, especially on the West Coast. So I was always watching Niner games every Sunday. I didn't get a choice because the man that my biological mother was married to at the time, he was a 49er fan. And of course, I was 8, 9 years old, so I didn't get a choice in what we watched. And there was no direct TV back then. There was no YouTube. There was no NFL Network. So I was stuck watching 49er football every single weekend. And then me and my dad made a bet one night. Washington played San Francisco one. I think it was a Monday night game. And we made a bet. And the bet was, whoever lost had to be a fan of the other team. Luckily, Washington won that game. And that rest is history. I've never looked back. I've kind of peeked over my shoulder once last year, when all the stuff was going on. But, I'm glad that we stuck with the team because, I got a cool sweater out of it, a cool little division champ sweater out of it. And hopefully get to add a couple more.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm almost like you, Rob, where really the beginning of mine was my father. My father is a Washington football fan, so that kind of carried over. I mean, and maybe one day I'll show you like all my school pictures. I would always have, Washington football shirts, something as a school picture. So it's always been something that I've loved. I think it was more of a love affair, more so as it became an adult. I think one of the biggest turnarounds for me was the death of Sean Taylor. I think that was when I really, really fell in love with the team, and I fell in love with the local coverage of it. Because at that time, and actually, it's crazy how I can remember how everything, the sequence of events, and everybody, the ESPNs, the major networks, the only thing they really was talking about was still the Michael Pittman situation, where he was alleged he spat on him during the playoff game against Tampa Bay at that time. So that was one of the things that people they're talking. You know how ESPN kind of bring out those negative kind of, they bring out your past.
Oh yeah,
and he was fighting for his life. But you look at our local coverage in my backyard here in Richmond, Virginia, where nothing. You just heard everything that was going on. You heard, okay, well, this is going on him medical wise. Clinton Porter, Santana Moss, and and the owner is just flew to Miami. They're down there with him, So that's all you really heard from that local coverage. And then even after his passing, where you look at this and you just the team, the coverage was more so solely focused on the death more so than what has happened to him in the past. So I just look at those things where it's like you really seeing like how the team kind of rallied around a tragedy like that. And it's just one of those things where it's like you kind of put things in perspective, obviously with a death of somebody like a Sean Taylor at that time. He's only a year older than me, so it's one of those things where it kind of made me realize like it's more than just football. This team is covered, and then just the whole coverage of I remember when his father, they had him on a couple times after during during the course of the season. Right. After his passing. So this is one of the things where it's like I looked at this team and it was like this is a team that you want to follow. This is a team that that's not close knit per se, but in the sense of team and spirit, where you look at it more than just on and off the field, and just that's why I really really fell in love with this team, and that's why I think that's the time when I really honed in on it. I've always loved football. Basketball was always my first sport. I love basketball, and I think I got sports maybe around like 9-10 years old. Basketball was my thing. Football was there. It was, but I think I really started like really paying attention and started like really, really loving the game pretty much in 2007. So that's where I think where mine's really kind of came from there. But yeah, this team, like we said, last year we were, with the name change and everything, it really did affect us. And, it was times where we thought about championship. I know me personally, I thought about it. But, it's one thing, like you said, it's just, let's make new memories. It's not the end of the world. This could be a good thing. We talked about really more. So we talked about the positive things that are going to probably come out of the name change, which I think will come into fruition. But yeah, absolutely. And these are, this is the reason why we are the Washington football guys. We eat, breathe, and sleep this team that we love, and we'll definitely, and our love of this team will definitely permeate throughout this podcast week in and week out. You'll definitely tell we're a little different when it comes to
some people will say we're a lot different.
Yeah.
When it comes to we get out of control sometimes. I know I do from time to time.
Well, our network colleagues at the Out the Ball Network, they might think we have a little irrational confidence. I think it's just more so of somewhat of is rooted in bias and kind of rooted in logic.
Yep.
Logical bias.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. We see the truth. We like to see a little bit more sometimes, maybe stuff that isn't there that we think can be and should be. But hey, like I said, we did predict. I think we did predict that we obviously predicted we would win the division. I legitimately thought at one point during the season we could make a deep playoff run and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. But hey, one step at a time. Ron Rivera's first year went through 4 different quarterbacks, which we can talk about all day. But man, let's get into the show because we got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we got a lot to talk about. And the first thing I really want to talk about is training camp is back in Richmond, Virginia, which is my hometown and where I dwell at this current moment in my life. So they're going to be coming back. They're only going to be here for a week. They'll be here July 27th through July 31st. They'll be here for 4 days. They'll go back to Ashburn on August the 1st and get ready for their preseason opener on August the 12th. Your thoughts on training camp coming back to Richmond?
So I'm sure you have a lot more thoughts than I do on it. I've never really, obviously it's, a big change from last season. Last season we dealt with COVID and no training camp at all. Everything was Zoom meetings and all that. I'm just glad that we're able to see this team get together again so early in the offseason, start working on the chemistry, mainly because we are anticipating, which we'll get into a little bit, having a brand new quarterback under center, one that these receivers have never played with, a along, obviously, we added weapons. So just trying to get that cohesiveness between the quarterback and the wide receivers, and that running back room. We're going to lean on Antonio Gibson a lot. That's my biggest thing I've been taking away from this, is just the teams together, building that chemistry, getting to know each other, and hopefully, we've won a division without a training or without an in-person training camp. Maybe, what can we do with when we have that chemistry going, starting off so early in the season?
Yeah. And like I said, I think it's a big deal for the city. I think it's an opportunity where and it's good for the city, and it's also good for the team, because you look, like you said, going away for a few days could help this team as far as the continuity and what have you. So I think Washington did a great job as far as kind of taking care of both ends, where it's definitely a good opportunity for the city to kind of shine with that. And then just like the camaraderie. And like you said, now we have a first full year on this regime. We don't have to, we're not restricted like we were, last year, with no OTAs, no mini camps, an abbreviated training camp, no preseason. So, you look at now starting in Richmond for those 4 days, definitely can help build the continuity going forward for this team. So I think it's one of the things where they kind of killed multiple, killed multiple birds in one stone. Where with this, I definitely like it, and definitely where it definitely belongs, definitely. Yep. And then shout out to Terry McLaurin yesterday, said, see you in Richmond. And I'm like, oh man, like that got me hyped. I ain't gonna front, like that got me hyped.
Is their training camp open to the public over there, or is it?
Yes, still open to the public.
Are you gonna go to any of them?
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna try to get out there. I gotta see how everything goes as far as work wise, schedule wise. But 9 times out of 10, I'm at least try to go maybe 1 or 2 days out the week. But yeah, it's definitely, if it's definitely it's better in Richmond than it is in Ashburn, because I think when Ashburn, I went at Ashburn maybe like in 2009. It was a little bit the field view wasn't really the best, versus being here in Richmond, where it's more of an open concept. You have an opportunity as far as not interacting with players, but more so it's great photo opportunities, potentially, especially at certain vantage points that you are at the training facility. And I'm not sure how they're going to do it this year, but I know in previous years they've had certain things as far as like interacting with players. Like they have like a dinner where you kind of meet players and meet coaches, stuff like that. I went to an event. What was it? It was an event where I met Doug Williams at one of my old elementary schools. They had like a luncheon, and that was kind of cool to meet with him. Our boy Alfred Morris, Washington football alum, he had a party. We had like somewhat like a day party like thing where he was, signing autographs for like charity and this, that, third. So it was a lot of opportunities to kind of, interact with players, coaches, alumni, and then also I think they also had like meetups where they were at certain restaurants, and you interacted with cheerleaders. The former voice of the Washington football team, who I also met. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that name. That might be I don't want us to get fired on the first day.
I think it's safer to just, he's the former. He did, as far as being the former voice, he did some things, and he did other things, and why he's not the former voice. But we got Julie Donaldson now, and she's terrific. Not to go off on a tangent, but she's absolutely terrific as the main media person. All her interviews are spot on. She has so much energy. She definitely knows the game and knows the team. But yeah, not to get off on a complete tangent, but yeah.
And speaking of Julie, I because she was on our post game show, with Comcast, so I missed her in the post game. But now, hearing her now, as far as being the voice of our team, and then also her doing the calls. Which now is like I'm telling you, that's one thing too. I really like our directions, everything, going forward with it, with her, Brown and D Hall calling games. Like,
yeah,
I might sometimes I've muted the game to hear them to hear their call. I mean, it's like that. I mean, it gets to that point, especially depends because they be doing us dirty. We be
Really?
getting like the fifth. We
Yeah.
be getting like the fifth. We be getting like the fifth team. Like for real talk. I'm not gonna put no names out there, but just to be respectful. But they put the fifth. So if we on a Sunday 1:00, man, they gonna put the fifth. The fifth team on us.
Yeah, because I remember was it Aqib Talib? I think it was his first game was a Washington game, and I'm not saying he was terrible. There was some good and some bad. Obviously, it was his first time, but yeah, to your point, those are the announcers we get.
Right.
Are the first timers, the debuters? Hey, get your feet wet. Nobody watches Washington anyways. I think it was actually the Washington Carolina game that he ended up getting.
And he called a Detroit game too, because remember he was we're going to go to my first game gonna be an overtime.
Oh,
really? I was like, really? Like, be quiet. You the one that if somebody 9 for 9 at the free throw line will announce that, and then they miss.
Good thing he never played baseball, because you know the rule. If you got a no through 7, 8, don't even talk to the pitcher. He'd be the one going up with, hey, you got no hitter, right? No pressure. You got no hitter going. You got the 3, 4, 5 up right now. Nah.
Right. And I'm just like, man, don't do that. Don't ever put us in that predicament again. but yeah, man, definitely huge shout out to them. And we also we talked about just the upgrades, just everything that as far as the team has encompassed. So let's talk about the mini camp recap. Just your thoughts on mini camp, and then also the social media pictures, the Ryan Fitzpatrick, Terry McLaurin picture, Julie Donaldson picture. Your thoughts on that?
So the pictures, I'm gonna start with the pictures. I love that. It's good to see the team being loose, just having fun. I mean, because for those of you that didn't see, for those of you that don't follow Washington, even remotely, they took basically first day of school pictures. Fitzpatrick had his first day of year 17 or whatever he's in. McLaurin was, first day of year 3 or 4. And they all did that. And it was cool to see it because they're having fun. You could tell that locker room they're all in sync together. They all, and that's compliments of Ron Rivera. Yeah. 100%, because we always joke about this, back when Bruce Allen was asked about the culture and, his infamous words, culture's damn good, which we know it wasn't, but now it's trending that way. Not only we got good product on the field, it was decent product, sometimes better than others. Obviously, defensive side of the ball, much better than the offense was last season. But you can see it trending in that direction. That, okay, this team got a taste of what it feels like to win. They got a taste of winning. Now they know what it takes. Now, just get that extra step. That move on to, instead of just making it to the playoffs. All right, let's win a game. Let's make it to the divisional round. Let's make it to the NFC Championship game. I think training camp overall, or mini camp rather, I always have a hard time judging mini camp because it's so short, and because a lot of the times, big name players don't go, especially on the bigger teams. And this year, I think Chase Young was not at mini camp, or was he not at OTAs?
He showed up. He OTAs.
Okay, yeah, OTAs. So what I was thinking about, but still though, it's such a short period of time. I don't know the ins and outs of a mini camp on what it's really about. If it's just more of the guys getting time together, build a chemistry, or you really trying to go over X's and O's. If I knew the ins and outs of it, if I could do something like that, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in Richmond with Ron Rivera right now. But overall, I'm excited about it. It was a lot of fun to see all the pictures. I'm just excited.
Well, we'll be there, Rob. Trust me. It's only a matter of time. Trust
Only a
me.
matter of time.
It's
And
only a
when
matter
you
of time. We're gonna be
uh,
there.
when you go to training camp in about a month, if you get just put in a good
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll put it this way: we're gonna get there, but we're gonna have stuff around our neck, so when security sees us, they know
They
why
know.
we here. We're doing Marshawn Lynch. You know why we here. We'll be in the building.
That's
But
right.
yeah, minicamp, like you said, yeah, I definitely loved though the pictures, like as far as the first day of school pictures. I thought that was funny. And that's one thing I love about our social media, where I don't care what nobody's saying. This is another one where we'll keep it a buck. Washington football team has the best NFL social media, period. Like hands down. Like you can't. They have the best social media by far. Like that's it's a
Absolutely.
brilliant idea, and it's funny. It shows camaraderie. It just shows, like you said, this team, the culture has changed. Like that's when we talked about just everything is pretty much been like an overhaul in so many different departments where it's always just a refreshing take. I definitely loved it. Like as far as Fitzpatrick, his teachers, Mr. Rivera, Julie Donaldson and her teachers, Mr. Wright, which so it's and it's just I think it's just so cool, like to have those type of things and just to kind of break up the monotony of the mini camp. But yeah, like mini camp is just one of the things where it's like you said, it's hard to tell. I think the only really thing I really have seen as far as just I'm really curious as far as the wide receiver, the depth of the wide receiver position, where a lot of guys did pretty well, which it's easy to kind of do. Not easy, but it's going to be very interesting how this wide receiver room is going to be. Like training camp it's going to be a very feisty competition. As we'll talk about later, as far as the quarterback position, but I think the wide receiver position is going to be like somebody's not going to be on this team that's going to deserve to be on this team from the wide receiver. Even our boy who I guess I had a little irrational confidence in this guy, Antonio Gandy Golden. He balled out. Who I thought was gonna be our offensive rookie of the year last year. Let's take a moment of silence for that. For that cold take, that freezing cold take I had last August.
Look, man, you can't win them all. You can't. My show is called Cruise Island for a reason. I have the most outlandish takes of pretty much anybody, especially within our network. But hey, I've hit a couple, I've missed a few, but you know what? Hey, you just keep making them. Eventually, law of averages. Eventually, you'll hit.
Facts.
Keep saying them.
Facts. Shooter's gonna shoot. Hey,
that's right.
We're gonna keep on throwing these takes out.
Yep.
Until something come up. But he's another one that's bald. But yeah, and then also I know a lot of people was really high on Benjamin St. Juice. A lot of people was feeling him. I was hearing some good things about him. Obviously, reading several articles about it. Hearing, gosh, I can't believe I forgot got my boy name JP.
Oh, JP Finley.
Yeah. And people been really, really impressed of what he has done at this point. But it's gonna be definitely this is like the calm before the storm. This is where you get your work in, and now we're entering a point where I want to say this is pretty much the downtime. This is gonna be the 7 weeks kind of where, hey, let's just this is the calm before the storm. Get yourself ready. You got 7 weeks to do what you need to do, and then just come back and just be ready.
Yep.
So, Riverboat Ron. So he had a interesting, to end minicamp yesterday. pretty much said, hey, I'm going to have an open competition. I'm not going to do like I did last year and give Dwayne the starting nod before we hit training camp. So we have an open competition at the quarterback position. Rob, your thoughts on that?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Fitz is done when he's done with different teams. As much as I love Fitzpatrick and
Yep.
anybody, people on this network know, I love me some Fitzpatrick. The birth of Cruise Island pretty much was that I do in some weird deep part of my brain believe that Fitzpatrick should be in Canton as a contributor. He's done so much for the league and so to, but again, he's a journeyman quarterback for a reason. He's not one of these. He's obviously, not a Tom Brady, not an Aaron Rodgers, a Russell Wilson, nothing like that, a Matt Ryan. He's a journeyman quarterback for a reason. So even though you went and gave him a $10 million contract for 1 year, why not? Why are you just going to go in and give him the job right off the bat? Why not see what our boy Hennessy could do? Kyle Allen, I'm not sold on Kyle Allen. I think, when I see on social media all the time that start, bench, cut game and they give you 3 options, Kyle Allen is cut every single time. I don't know why he's still on the roster. Maybe just as an emergency quarterback. Maybe I have no faith in Kyle Allen whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, it's not like Fitzmagic has lit up the league and we're getting a great quarterback on the back end of a contract. It's not like we're getting an Aaron Rodgers, which a lot of people speculated for a little bit of time that we were going to make pull off a miraculous trade for Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers comes in, yes, automatic day one, that's the starter. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. But, let's see what Hennessy could do. Let's see what Taylor Hennessy.
Yeah.
I was going to keep calling him Hennessy. That's my boy. Let's see what he can do. He put on about, I think he said about 15 pounds of muscle. He has another, he's had a little bit of more time in that Ron Rivera system. I'm sure he's looked over the playbook once or twice since that playoff game where he, almost pulled off a miracle and beating the eventual Super Bowl champs. Can he do it a full now 17 game season? Hopefully 17 plus. Who knows? But yes, absolutely. Make it a quarterback competition. And I'm sure that Ron wanted for it to be a competition last year. Yeah. But he kind of went in, and I feel like that was a compromise for Dan Snyder. Because obviously Dwayne Haskins was Dan Snyder's boy. He wanted him from the start, even though Jay Gruden never wanted him. Neither did really much of the coaching staff at the time. But again, when you're the one writing checks, you kind of have a say, whether you should or not. Your signature's on that check. You can say something. So I feel like Ron was like, look, year one, if nobody expected us to win the division, nobody even expected us to go 7-9. And that was the people that were expecting us to go 7-9. That was like on a good. That was a good season for them. That was if we get a couple lucky bounces, we win a few games that we're not supposed to. We're going 7-9. Probably third place in the division. Ends up being enough to win the division, go on to the playoffs. But that was really Ron Rivera. I'm sure that was his mindset. Was look, I'm going to try to win, but you know what? If Dan wants this guy to start, I'll start him. Let's see what he can do. Because one or two things are going to happen. Either one, he's going to do great and we're going to be successful, or he's not, and I have a reason to bench him and eventually cut him. And I can say, look, I gave him a chance. Yeah. Year one, even if we go 6-10, 7-9, don't win the division, it's only year one. We're rebuilding anyways. No one's expecting us to come in and light the world on fire and compete for a Lombardi trophy. So, yeah, he wanted a quarterback competition last year. He gave in, and he's proved to Dan Snyder, like, hey, if you just let me come in and do things my way, we're going to be a successful team. And he's finally I think he's finally at 100% control of what he needs to control in order for this team to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I don't have a problem with the open competition. I mean, honestly, every spot is an open competition. It just isn't broadcast, obviously, or no one really cares about other positions besides the quarterback position.
True.
More so than anything. Yeah, and it's just one of the things where Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't guaranteed the job. Like you look at, like you said, Taylor Heineke, aka Tyler Hennessy. I keep on calling him Taylor. Taylor.
Is it Taylor?
Yikes. It's Taylor. Yes. I don't know why. I don't know why I got Tyler from. I've been saying Tyler since December. That's not good. But yeah, you have. That's the thing where you have to like. Everybody should get a shot at this point. Even Cal Allen did struggle. Even in the time that he played with us last year, he struggled. He had some highlights and lowlights, but really more so on the low.
Yep.
Officer Taylor doing his thing in the playoff game, which I think even off the strength of that deserves him still being on his team and competing for the starting job. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick is another one where, and I think this is definitely going to help because with this quarterback rotation, you never know because you look at a situation with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he really hasn't put together a complete season. Well, besides last year, he did pretty good. But last year, there's another one where they benched him kind of in the middle of the season, and he was actually doing well. Yep. Normally, he's benched because of erratic play. And Fitzpatrick, and that's the thing too, where if he gets erratic, you kind of really do need to see what else you have left. I mean, what you have. So, with Cal Allen, Taylor, and then maybe Montez, I doubt if he makes the team, but yeah, he's in the mode. But just be respectful. Just be respectful.
Very true.
But because I'm not sure how Ryan Fitzpatrick gonna really pan out per se. He's gonna have some good games. He's gonna have some bad games. And his bad games are bad, but then it's gonna be weird. Like I remember when he was with Tampa Bay, and they had that Monday Night Football game against Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh, yep.
And he threw about 4 or 5 interceptions, but shoot, he almost had 500 passing yards.
Yeah.
That's where you're like, this is where it's like, okay, well, is it time for Cal? Is it time for Taylor? And so both of those two, Taylor and Cal have familiarity with his offense, obviously under the tutelage of Scott Turner. So this is a good thing, and then you just look at this team and we always talk about this often, where you think about even if like Alex Smith was in his in his stint, he would let us be 5-1 with minimal with minimal production.
Yep.
Because he really didn't he had game manager stats, but not like his normal typical one where he literally managed the game like to a point where it's definitely like extremely managed. Yeah. But this is a situation where you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's an air it out kind of guy. Like, will he be, will that backfire? Will he, this gunslinger mentality that could, that could be a situation where it blows up in your face, and then your defense is on the field, and then they just get tired out because he's throwing multiple interceptions. But I'm hoping we're gonna get to Miami last year. Ryan Fitzpatrick. I would still be optimistic about that until I see anything different.
Yeah, the thing too with Ryan Fitzpatrick is, and I've said this before, and I keep saying this is the most complete team he's ever been on.
Yep.
He was in Tampa with Mike Evans. That I think 1 or 2 seasons. He had Devontae Parker the last 2 years in Miami, and then he got pulled for obviously for Tua because they felt like young guy, 5th overall pick, might start trying to get some return on investment on that kid.
Yeah.
So they ended up benching him. But even that same season that you brought up, where he played that basically was an average game through the 5 picks, but also almost had 500 yards. Did the same thing against us. A few weeks later, that team had over 500 yards of offense, and he had well over 400. But it was the turnovers. We still ended up winning that game. I think Josh Norman had a couple picks. I know Ryan Anderson had one forced fumble out of the end zone for a touchback. So and again, he's never had these kind of weapons. You're talking about Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Brown out of North Carolina.
Yeah,
you got Adam Humphries, who I think is still a serviceable quarterback or wide receiver.
Yeah.
Not to mention our boy at tight end. What's his name? Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
Our backfield is good and hopefully gets better. Our line, I think our line severely improved. This might be our last year with Brandon Sheriff. I think he will get traded by the deadline just because he's ready to turn down every contract offer from the team. So clearly, it shows he doesn't want to be there. But, we drafted Cosme out of Texas, who I think is a very good player. I think might actually be better than Sheriff in the long run. So we'll see what happens there. But this has got to be the most complete team Ryan Fitzpatrick has ever been a part of it and has ever led. If he can get those interceptions down, just even by a little bit, 4 or 5 fewer interceptions, we're sitting nice. There's no reason why he's not a Pro Bowl quarterback at the end of the season. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say it right now. Fitzpatrick will be a Pro Bowl quarterback this season. He will be selected to his first Pro Bowl as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, we're gonna try it up for the audio. We're gonna definitely put that on. I like that. I definitely like that take. But yeah, and it's funny to go back to the Ryan Fitzpatrick. He coughed us up in that game. Like we almost lost. Like,
yep.
I swear, like it's so funny. Like, and that was crazy because I was like, if he would have played in the first half, because we were destroying Josh Rosen. Poor Josh Rosen. Like, blank twice if you're okay. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
But then when Ryan Fitzpatrick come out, I'm like, this dude might beat us. Like, we might not win a game this year. Oh my, I'm telling you. And when he came in, I was like, oh no, like we might lose this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that game was rough. I don't think we had Alex Smith yet. I think that was still a Kirk Cousins year.
He was hurt. Because that was the year. Remember, that was 19.
Okay, that was after the Texans game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you talking about 2000? Oh, yeah, we with Tampa Bay. Yeah, with Tampa Bay. I was talking about the Miami one, but yeah, we beat them. Oh, and that was crazy. That's a thing that was really weird because that was a change of the tag. I think we won that game. We were 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
We was on our way, to a point where we was going to put a down payment on the NFC East Championship shirt, 2019 style.
Yep.
And then Houston was the next week, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, we know how that turned out, and I don't feel like talking about it again.
Not at all.
But real quick, so our boy Stu of the Morning Brew, so he's been putting out his quarterback rankings, his preseason quarterback rankings. He's going 5 at a time, and he put our boy Fitzmagic at 27, ahead of Jared Goff, and right behind his successor in Miami, Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah. What do you think about him being at 27?
You know what? I think that's fair.
You think so?
I mean, maybe at 27, that's kind of I would at least think he's a top 25 quarterback.
So the two people he has ahead of Fitzpatrick right now is Tua and Jimmy G. He hasn't. That's 28 through 25. Jared Goff at 28, Fitzpatrick 27, Tua 26, Jimmy G at 25. I mean, you'd have to think Jimmy G. I'll give him that one.
I give him that.
You could say too. In fact, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is actually too low as well. To prove, I think he's proven how valuable he is to that 49ers team.
Yeah, and that's where it's like because and that's one thing too where I don't think really people understand, like with Jimmy G. I still think he's like he's a top 20 quarterback, not a top
Absolutely.
25, which it's funny where if he would have connected with Emmanuel Sanders in that Super Bowl, this story would have changed. Like, it's crazy
Yeah.
how, like, I feel like that one play kind of just ruined everything for him. Now, the 27th is kind of, I mean, it's fair, but in the same token, he's at least you gotta at least, that's got to be the ceiling, because I think at least when you think about Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's got to be at least in a top 25. I'm gonna be, if we're gonna keep it a buck, he's a top 25 quarterback.
I'm trying to think of what quarterbacks are in the league right now that he is better than, because so looking at what he's released so far, he has Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater, whoever ends up being the starter in Denver. So pretty much he has no faith in Denver quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts at number 31. He wears number 2, but he's the 31st best quarterback, projected starter quarterback. Sam Darnold at 30, rookie Zach Wilson at 29, and then Jared Goff at 28, Fitz at 27, Tua at 26, Jimmy G at 25. So I'm trying to think of what.
But he's better than Tua, though. I think
he's better than
going
Tua
forward, because I mean, you sit down and you really think about it, because Tua, like, I mean, if we're gonna keep it a buck, that's his backup quarterback. Like Tua. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, Tua was his backup, and the only reason why that was an upstairs call to bench him, because all they really wanted to do to see if they can live without Ryan Fitzpatrick. Do we take that 3rd overall pick and give another quarterback? That's all that really was. That was a call from the general manager saying, hey, we need to see what this guy's about. If he's somewhat decent, we're going to keep him. This, that, and the third. But he's got to be 27th. I mean, I don't know. I get it, but like you're saying, I'm really interested in who's going to be in the tier who I think he should belong in that 25, 20, 50, 20 to 15, like in that range. Yeah. But I think that's where I would have maybe potentially seen him being there, because you gotta really sit down and think about it. He was on a team, with Miami, who was a playoff caliber. Well, they are a playoff caliber team. And I honestly think and that's another one where I hate to be, give this type of revisionist history type of story, but what if Fitzpatrick didn't have, the C and played in Buffalo? Because they would have won that game, because really, I think Buffalo really wasn't playing for nothing.
Right.
Because
I think that I believe then, I still believe now, they pulled Fitzpatrick way too early.
I think so
that
too.
Season. I think he should have completed the season, and I think had they completed the season, they would have been a playoff team. Absolutely.
I agree.
So I would definitely put him above Tua. I would not put him above Jimmy G, but I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like what other quarterbacks are left, because obviously he's only up to 25, so we're probably going to get 24 through 20 sometime next week. So you're probably going to see Trevor Lawrence in there, because he's a brand new rookie. He already got the first rookie off the board in
Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz should be on the next tier. Who else? We're looking as far as starting quarterbacks. Maybe I don't know if we're gonna put Dak that low. But then hold on. Let's even you know what now? As we're going through this list now, I'm starting to draw some people that's like, why the hell they're not in this? First of all, even in our division, Jalen Hurts, I get that potentially.
At 31, yes, absolutely. I agree.
What about Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones
is better than Ryan Fitzpatrick?
He's saying that Daniel Jones is better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right. And that's the thing where it's a lot of, Now it's funny. Now I'm kind of in my mind. I'm thinking of each division and
Same.
each quarterback. So I'm looking at. Let's see. You got
So let's do NFC South real
Big
quick.
like Ben Roethlisberger. Like you think I'm telling you, I'm conjuring up names now. I'm going through the regions. Andy Dalton. Like
Well, so I'm thinking because Stu has already put Zach Wilson in there. I think he's gonna assume Justin Fields will eventually be the starter. So he's gonna do that. But then again, we already know Andy Dalton pretty much will be week 1 starter. So if he does have Andy Dalton, even at 24, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is much better than Andy Dalton at this point in their respective careers. Let's see, you got Kirk Cousins. He already had Jared Goff on there underneath him, and Aaron Rodgers. We're not touching him. You look at the NFC South, you got Jameis Winston / Taysom Hill, whoever ends up being the starter, which I think will be Jameis Winston, which he can't be if he's not on the next 4. It's blasphemy, but we know Stu is a big Jameis. Is he a Jameis Winston fan? We had this argument.
I put it this way. I think he champions him. I don't know if it's more so. I think that might be the best kind of phraseology. I put it this way. Like if we were to have like a run the mill type of argument, he would champion Jameis Winston. I'll put it that way.
True. And then you got Tom Brady. I would say Tom Brady. He's the GOAT of GOATs. And then Sam Darnold he already had.
Yeah, that's right. He already put that.
He had him at 30. So you go over to the East, North, South, NFC West. NFC West is the gauntlet of quarterbacks, so let's not even touch that.
AFC West.
AFC West, you got Patty Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah, Derek Carr. Like, right? Bro.
I would say Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Fitzpatrick. But who's the 4th team who am I missing?
Justin Herbert.
No. Yeah, I said Herbert. I was thinking. I forgot about the Broncos. He has whoever their starting quarterback. And then you got that was the AFC West, AFC East. You had Tua on there. Josh Allen obviously is the best quarterback in that division.
Cam.
You had Tua already on there.
And McCorkle. Cam McCorkle.
Well, I think McCorkle. I think he's gonna be rocking with Cam.
Yeah, Cam.
And they had Zach Wilson on there. So then AFC South, you have Ryan Tannehill, Trevor Lawrence, who I think will be in the next 4. Houston is Deshaun Watson as of right now. Might be Sean Mills out of Stanford. We don't know yet.
Tyrod Taylor.
Who's the 14? The Texans, Jaguars.
No, you know what?
Titans.
His boy Carson Wentz. His boy Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz isn't even going to make it through the rest of the entire season.
All right. We want an addendum to that.
That's what I'm curious.
We want to flop. We want to flip that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where he has Carson Wentz at.
Yes, I'm curious. I'm extremely curious where you're gonna have him at.
And then AFC North, you got Big Ben, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Baker Mayfield, which I think is the second best division of quarterbacks.
Yeah, behind
the NFC West. So in conclusion, 27 is okay. I just don't like that he has. What bothered me more is the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is at 25 and he's not. And at the worst, he should be 20.
Yeah. And but that's the beauty thing about it. It is a preseason ranking.
True. Very true.
And I like that. I like that. Luckily, we don't have to play the Colts for Stu's. Had to put him in for his rankings, and so he luckily doesn't have to face the wrath of Ryan Fitzpatrick in the Washington football team. So be lucky at this point.
Exactly.
So hey, what a hell of a debut, Rob. Let's put a bow on the first episode, debut episode of the Washington Football Guys. Your final thoughts, Rob. Oh, before we go, we are there's There's always a hater in the room. There's always a hater. Shout out to our guy Mo Gotti. So we always gotta have a Washington football. I mean a Dallas guy infiltrating the Washington Football Guys podcast, and it's only right, you know.
Hey, if you ain't got haters, you're not doing something right.
Correct, especially when you lead, especially when you win in division.
Yeah, and when your running back runs for, I think, a combined 500 yards in 2 games on them. So
yeah. So Rob,
this was fun. Again, I keep saying it. It's been a year that we've been planning this. We finally get to bring it to fruition. We finally get to do it, and I could not be more excited.
Yeah, and you know, so funny. I thought about we should have did the pictures where, hey, this is our, you know, my first day on the job.
You should have. That would have been cool.
I guess I do it now. It's the first day of the job. I'm 36 years old. I'm 5'9". My teacher is Mr. Snyder.
I'm not sure if that's a good teacher, but
I don't know. I mean, hey.
But hey.
Well, Mr. Rivera is my teacher. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
Mr. Rivera is my teacher. Mr. Rivera is my teacher.
Take him as a teacher any day.
Correct. So, Rob, where can they find you? We'll put a bow on this week's Watch the Football Guys. Where can they find you on social media and any other projects going on?
You already know where you can find me, FNC Pod on Twitter, Football and Chill Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Now at WF Guys over on Twitter, where me and Chris both run that Twitter. Any comments about this episode? You know, let us know. Comment, tweet at us. You know, we'll take all the hate. I'll take it 100%. Ryan Fitzpatrick will be a Pro Bowl quarterback. But he's not going to, unfortunately, though, the bad thing about him being a Pro Bowl quarterback this year is he's not going to be able to play in it because he's going to be playing in the Super Bowl. And we know we're Super Bowl players who are elected to the Pro Bowl. They don't get to play because obviously it's the week after now.
Boom. Yeah. So definitely, like you said, definitely follow us on Twitter. WF Guys. WF Guys, GUYS. And then we'll get the other social medias together. I'm trying to find a way where we can kind of incorporate both the words. I know with Twitter, it was too long. It's for pause. It was as far as the wording of it, the characters, it was, as far as that. But we'll get that social media running. Also, follow me personally. I have actually a couple of them. My personal one, CouchCoach P. Also, follow my other show, CouchCoach Live. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the CouchCoach Live. And we'll get the Washington Football Guys social medias on other platforms together. Also, we have a Washington Football Guys on Facebook. So we got that going. And we'll be posting this. Get ready to set up the account for the podcast. So we'll have that probably in the next couple of days. We'll have this posted pretty much everywhere we get your podcast. And then also we'll put this on Off the Ball Network YouTube page. Definitely follow Off the Ball Network YouTube page. We'll definitely put that on that as well. And yeah,
real quick, you just mentioned, but shout out to Off the Ball Network. Everybody at the network doing big things. Chris LeBron just did a show for all you basketball guys with the assistant coach from LA, East LA Community College, which I just listened to on my way home. It is phenomenal. It is amazing. Chris always does great interviews. This one's probably my favorite one that he's done. But a special shout out to Prez for giving us this opportunity, because without him, this wouldn't be possible. Shout out to Jeff Hunt over at Jeff Needs Help. If it wasn't for him, me and you would have never connected. So he's a big part of this. Shout out to everybody at Off the Ball Network. Go follow Off the Ball Network. Follow everybody at Off the Ball Network. I promise you, great content all the time, every single sport. I mean literally almost every single sport: UFC, boxing, soccer. Obviously we have football guys, we got basketball guys. Our boy Bars is a baseball guy, and I'm going to see if I can work it in my schedule to start, and this is why I emphasize almost every single sport. American Ultimate Disc League. If y'all don't know what that is, it is Ultimate Frisbee. There's a professional league, and it is exciting. If you don't watch it, I recommend you do it. It is a lot of fun. I'm going to try to start covering that a little bit here and there if I can fit it in my schedule. So yes, literally almost every single sport we cover. Definitely go check everybody out.
Yes, indeed. Definitely shout out to everybody at Off the Ball Network, everybody supporting us. Shout out to Mo for interacting with us, the VP. Interact us, and even in when there's hate, there's still love involved. So
Absolutely.
we understand. We know, hey, we know it's hate, but it's all love across the board, man. Definitely huge shout out to everybody, man. Up on network, we talked about it. Like you said, we're all together in this. It's a great great network. We're all networking together. We all helping each other out. As this is what you want. This is the type of situation where you want to be around a group of people that are like-minded, who pushes you to do your best. It's always great to be around a network of people that brings out the best out of you. So definitely huge shout out to everybody. Man, this has been a hell of a debut show for us here at the Washington Football Guys podcast. And we're definitely looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And we'll be catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Washington guys and gals and anybody who loves the Washington football team or just love me and Rob.
Hey, what's not to love about us?
Correct. All right, man. We'll catch you guys next week. This has been this week's Washington Football Guys podcast.